Please.
Martin,
Here.
Kane,
Here.
McDermott, Pingleton, and Hanson is absent.
Open meeting compliance statement read, please.
I, the undersigned clerk of the Board of Education of the Alva Independent School District, number 1 of Woods County, Oklahoma, certify that the notice of the date, time, and place of the special meeting was given at least 48 hours prior to this meeting in the office of the County Clerk of Woods County, Oklahoma. I also certify that at least 48 hours prior to the special meeting, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, notice of the date, time, place, and agenda of this meeting was posted in prominent public view in the office of the superintendent.
Thank you. Consent agenda, all of the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved by one board vote. Unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items, the consent agenda consists of discussion, consideration, and approval of the following. 3.1, minutes of the meeting. 3.2, approval of finance report. 3.3, approval of purchase order encumbrances for FY26 and building for total to date at that same time. The 3.4 is approval of the activity fund. We're going to go back up to 3.1, minutes of the regular meeting. Any challenges? With approval? Thank you.
Don't we don't need to wait for this.
Oh, sorry. I still move approval. Basically, just the one thing that we motion is second.
There is no second.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm sorry, 3.2, approval of finance report, sir. We're not used to this, we're in trouble. Yeah.
I'll have to get a little better at clicking in here.
Feel the zooming.
General fund, we currently have $306,852 less encumbered than this time last year. We've paid $181,969 less out of the general fund. In February, it's got March on here because we pulled the reports after the 1st of March. So in February, we were going to talk about the March meeting. We revenued $669,695. For the year through February, we had revenued $8,481,747, not including the carryover amount of $6.8 million. We've revenued $1,169,000 less than this time last year. Large part of that's due to they paid out a teacher pay raise in one lump sum, and then the school security grant was another almost $200,000. It came in one lump sum. So without those two one-time payments, the number's a lot smaller. Another, again, so it's for 2 months now, depending on when people pay out for one. So we should be seeing those final tax payments this month, maybe next. I'll have more for last year. So it's kind of the general fund. In the building fund, we currently have $514,354 less encumbered than this time last year, and it paid $657,763 less. Again, a large portion of that is in the purchase of the buses we made in the fall of '24. In February, we revenued $32,308. For the year through February, we've revenued $788,122. That doesn't include our carryover amount of $3.5 million. And we've revenued revenued $136,127 more than this point last year. So just off of taxes, maybe we're revenue a little bit more. Take those one-time payments out on the general fund and everything kind of balances out. Anyway, revenues in the building fund are relatively flat, or just slightly up at this point. And then on our investment accounts, in the general fund, we have we've got $7.5 million invested, averaging just right at 4%. In the building fund, there is $3.7 million invested. Again, everything's averaging about 4%. Child nutrition, it's the same $159,000 there. Sinking fund has $11,000 left. It's invested a little higher. It's a longer term investment, 4.3%. And the gift fund has $375,000 invested at 4%. So total investments, we're sitting at $11,748,000. I know she did move some over into investments after getting big tax payments. So $11,748,000 invested, averaging 4.1%.
Is there a reason those are still showing up as bank central?
It's how it's coded in the
At the top, it says Dream First.
Some of them have gotten changed over and some of them haven't. They're in the same accounts, it's just rolling over. They just haven't updated them, so we'll just, anyway, that's the building and general fund finances.
Questions? Hearing none, we'll go to 3.3, purchase order encumbrances for the following funds for fiscal year 2026.
Just draw your attention to a handful of them. PO 423, to give Hart Wilcox, it was for, at the middle school for textbooks in our family consumer science classes. It was just almost $1,250. Probably came from some of the 412 money. PO 426 to Johnston's. I would like to point this one out. High school diplomas and honors stuff, honors cords, all that. $2,987. So I'll just write almost $3,000. And it's that time of year, start looking towards commencement, graduation. So double check calendars and all that kind of stuff, right? PO 427 is in the high school for STEM supplies. $2,555. PO 435, Cordis keynotes and seminars is Bill Cordis. He came last year on the School Unity project, came again this year. Something we want to do every year. Works with our juniors going to be seniors next year and that kind of thing. So that was a $3,000 having him come in and work for our kids. PO 440 or 439, PO 439 to USA weightlifting. That was for $1,098 for Coach Wilson and Coach Meade to attend a weightlifting, strength, and conditioning workshop. Coach Wilson came to me and asked if they could go, and I said, sure, we'd love for you to. So I was pretty excited that a couple of coaches want to do that kind of stuff. So PO 444, testing with success, was $2,000 for an ACT workshop for our kids. We required sophomores to go and then opened it up to everybody else. ACT prep workshop looking at state testing for next year's juniors and as they start looking towards college and that kind of thing. And then PO 452 is H6 digital branding, $8,800. That's for JC, do all of our social media, district-wide, all that kind of stuff. So that is the kind of some general fund stuff I want to draw attention to. In the building fund, find all the clicks here. PO 147, Gagnon Plumbing, had to replace the water heater in the cafeteria up here. And then 148 was Selectable Mechanical for the water heater at the concession stand in the gym. That's a commercial water heater.
Yeah.
I did have it locally priced, and it was about double that cost. It feeds both those locker rooms. It's off the gym, off the lobby, both bathrooms and the concession stand. So it's not your typical water heater.
Not just what it is.
Yeah, it's a commercial side. It's a real thing.
Make any money in that.
It's in the concession stand closet, but it feeds that whole new gym wing. So, PO 151 Rose Plumbing. Two or three of the drinking fountains at the middle school all went out within a month of each other. And I don't know how long they've been there. A while. With the holding tank, the cooling tank in them, cracks and there's leaking water. So anyway, Rose Plumbing came in and installed new ones there. That's what that 1,200 is. And then PO 155, this is it's $9,000 again to Luckinville. That is for all the gas line repairs. It was finishing up that project from the fire. So we're still wrapping all that stuff up. And then PO 157 was to Holton Engineering Group, $1,000. That's where he came and reassessed Lincoln and did some of that, had that conversation. So
Are we finished with all the gas repairs? The gas line repairs? Or is there still more stuff happening?
as of today,
We're finished as of today?
as of today,
Okay. So there's probably gonna be another charge.
there should be on the original fire. That should be the I would say should be. We should be at the end of the gas line repairs. So they end up replacing 21 regulators
Wow.
Huge.
on the roof.
Were they
Mostly.
the diaphragm type? When you do the diaphragms a lot out of these,
You
that
know,
was
some of them had manufacture dates. The oldest one they found was 1971. So
got our money's worth out of it.
I think we got our money's worth out of it. There was 21 regulators, and I don't know how many leaks they fixed on joints and different things. So once ONG shut us in, you had to fix everything to get the gas back on. It took them all week to
Insurance
do
paid
it.
that.
Yeah, that'll all be part of that claim. Anyway, I had one PO in the gift fund, $750 to Northwestern for scholarship payment. So, that's encumbrances.
Any questions?
Report 4, approval of the activity plan report.
I'll just kind of go through here and look at what our deposits have been. That's the annual one. Just last month. Or in February, athletics received $13,840. That's ticket sales for the most part. The vast majority of that's ticket sales. It'll be in next month's report. It'll show big ticket sales for district and regional basketball tournaments, and then we'll turn right around and pay the OSSA pretty good portion of that back, because all the ticket sales go through them, and then they turn around and reimburse us for hosting. It's kind of, it's an accounting thing. But, anyway, February $13,842. Baseball deposit $15,550. That big chunk of that was their sign sales on the outfield fence, sponsor sales, and had two donations for two people donated for a new batting cage out there. So the rest of it was pretty standard stuff. Basketball had a couple fundraisers they wrapped up. Concession stand. The big winner here is Longfellow School deposited $21,800 for their spellathon. She was so she was on top nine.
On that one, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that activity fund's staying pretty healthy.
motion to approve 3.1 through 3.4, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Kane,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Singleton,
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Board administration report.
I just had a little bit on the superintendent report. So we had to move the meeting and we meet again April 7th, like 2 weeks.
It's a Tuesday, everybody, so
Yeah.
Tuesday after Easter, Monday.
I told principals we just breeze through that and do it all in April. So we meet again. But one thing I want to throw out is after Holton was here to look at Lincoln, on his recommendation, we moved the library out of the library at Lincoln into a classroom, shuffled some other staff around the classrooms due to the floor until we can pull carpet back, drill holes, get cameras underneath it, all that. It's just structurally, it felt like it was time to get out of the library for sure. So we are looking at options. I say we're looking at options. It's all on the table, whether we need to, from portables, the big question is it time to not have our kids at Lincoln? I think that's the million-dollar question right now. So do we get portables somewhere and move the entire, both grades into it? I'm meeting with somebody from the university, look at the Presbyterian Church maybe, possibly, on Wednesday. Move some of the kids to maybe one grade to the middle school. I mean, all the options on the table right now, just to make a good decision for the safety of those kids and that facility. So, anyway, I want to put that on your radar. If you hear talk about that, that's what's going on in Lincoln. But, other than that, I don't have much in the way of the superintendent's report other than what we're going to talk about in a minute.
Okay. Can we get 2 grades at Presbyterian Church?
I'm not sure. We go Wednesday to look at the size of the classrooms. At most, they're going to have 4 or 5 maybe. And I don't know how many students those rooms will fit. Those are going to be evaluated. We're going to need, for both grades, we need at least like 10 classrooms. Just have to look at things and talk a lot.
Okay, 4.2, resignation, retirements, reassignments.
Just had 3 resignations. Dr. Niswanger is resigning here at the high school. Mitchell Rader, a paraprofessional at the middle school, and Braden Leatherberry is a paraprofessional at Washington. Some of the resignations accepted this month.
Item 5, items of current business. 5.1, board to consider and take possible action in the absence of the president and/or clerk to appoint an acting president and/or acting clerk for the school district to execute any and all documents pertaining to the calling of a special election to authorize general obligation bonds.
You can take no action on that since you're president clerk for the future.
5.2, board to consider and take action on the resolution authorizing the calling of the holding of a special election to be held in this school district to authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds.
I've got Andy Davis with Jordan Smith Corporation is here. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah.
Let him,
This is the time to do that. So he's got the resolution pulled up there. It's what we're looking at. So this is the item where we talk about, I'm going to walk through some of the Kramer next, but this is where we talk about what do we vote for. So when I was here a couple months ago, we talked about kind of mainly 3 things you look at. How much are we doing in terms of dollars? For how long? What's the tax impact? So I'm sure before I give you that spreadsheet of 6 options, I'll kind of walk through them. Then we look at a couple of individual bond schedules, just kind of show you guys, here's how it actually functions. So and since then, talking with Mr. Brashears, you all kind of settled on, okay, this is the dollar amount we think we need, this is the tax impact we're comfortable with, and the term we're going to go with. So I brought that individual bond schedule just to kind of remind you guys, okay, what are the mechanics of our bond program we're looking at, how are these bonds sold, the timing, tax impact, and dollars. So that's what I'm handing out here. I know it's a big piece of paper, but if we put it on a small one, it's really hard to, it's hard to read
I
on this.
appreciate
It gets really hard when it's on a small piece of paper. 95% hope you actually read the numbers. So what we're looking at here, this is just called the bonds, which is, again, how much we're gonna vote, when we're gonna sell it, how much we're gonna sell, the what time period, and tax impact. So up here in the top left corner, you see two numbers. First one says 51.2 million series bonds and net 35,955. That 35,955, that's the amount of money that you all need for project superiors. That's how much we're gonna have to spend on all the projects that we're gonna vote on. Okay, so that's kind of our starting line, that's how much we need. So then it's our job to say, okay, how can we build a bond program that delivers that amount of money for you all? So we go and we say, okay, how much can we sell in bonds each year? What tax impact? So what we do then is we kind of start selling bonds each year. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see all these numbers in blue. That's how much we're going to sell in bonds each year. Total those up, it's that 51.2 million. So I'm going to back up a little bit here in a minute. But what that 51.2 is, that's the dollar amount you're actually voting on. So when people see their ballot, when you see it in the newspaper, that's the only number people are going to see. It's 51.2 million. You all as a board administration know out of that we're going to have this to net, but that 51.2, that's the main number that you're going to see at any time it's related to the election. Okay? So that's number one. That's our dollar amount we're voting. Now, in an ideal world, what we do is we'd go vote 39.9 million. We'd go sell those bonds. We'd issue it one time. It'd go into your bond fund. You'd spend it out. Remember what we talked about last time is most schools can't do it that way for two reasons. One, it's over your bonding capacity. So you have a legal limit how much you can sell in bonds at any one time. Your capacity right now is about 13 million. So that's way over what we could sell in one time. So we can't do it if we wanted to. Also, if we put 35 million on the tax rolls all at one time, it would really send our taxes way up. So we don't want to do that either. So what we do is we vote the 51 million all at once. But we only sell or issue a portion of it every year over a number of years. And that's why it's called a series bond. We talk about series over a series of years. So now if you total all those numbers up on the left-hand side, that totals the 51.2 million we voted. We're just going to sell a portion of it over, in this case, 15 years. Okay? Well, that creates a timing problem. We don't want to wait a year, 2 years, 15 years to get our money and build our project. We want to do it now on today's dollar and start getting used to those facilities. So after the election passes, we go out to a bank or a lending institution. Hey, Mr. Banker, we've voted and approved all this money. We've got a timing problem. Will you as a bank loan us the 35 million today so we can build everything? And then as we get these monies in over 15 years, we're going to pay him back. So what you're really voting is the cost of your project plus the interest cost to pay that banker back. I always simplify, it's like a car loan. You go buy a $20,000 car, by the time you pay the banker back, you pay back $25,000. We're voting the $25,000, not just the cost of the car, but the cost of the car plus the amount to pay that banker back. That makes sense so far? I know it's not too long ago. So then we've talked about now the dollar amount. We've talked about how long we're going to do it for. So then the real thing is the tax impact. What's going to cost your patrons? So we've settled on 22 mills. If you're tracking to the bottom here, you'll see these first couple of years here, this is just your sinking fund. If you have no bonds outstanding currently, it's showing 0 mills in your sinking fund. This would jump you up to 22 mills. And then you see it keeps you there throughout the life of it. So you jump up one time, then it stays flat throughout the life of it. So again, that's your dollar amount you're voting, that's the term you're voting for, 15 years, and that's your tax impact, 22 mills. Any questions so far? Most people don't know or care what a mill is, so that we bring another sheet to pass out. This kind of shows that, okay, what does 22 mills mean in terms of dollars and cents? And this is really what you're going to want to show people and patrons that are voting when they ask, okay, what's this going to cost me if I decide I want to vote for this? So on the left-hand side of this sheet, you'll see a little box. And this does show the mills. So that first column on the left says 25, 26. That is your current millage rate. That if you're a patron living in Alva, what you pay. So you can see you've got Woods County, you got the VOCHEC, and you got everything in Alva schools. That includes your building fund, general fund, anything else included in there. Second thing is if you add that 22 mills to Alva schools, you can see it jumps up 22 mills. So then the right side, this is really the important one. It shows the dollars and cents. So this is really what we're going to probably put on flyers and websites and things to show people what it means now. So again, the left-hand column is what you pay currently in property taxes a year. The second column is what it increases to should the bond issue pass. And then it's just broken down by an annual and monthly increase. So we've got a number of different numbers on there. The easiest one is if you pay $1,000 a year, currently it's going to jump up to $1,295. So about $295 a year, about $24 a month. But you can use any of those combinations. If you know what your taxes are, or roughly, you can say, okay, if I pay $1,200, okay, well, great, that's not listed on here, but I can take the 1,000 and 200, kind of add those two together and pretty quickly get to what your actual tax bill is. Some people use different metrics of this when talking about promoting a bond. Some use average taxpayer, but I don't, and I'm being honest, I don't really know if I'm the average taxpayer where I live. I might be a little higher, a little low, I don't really know. So I like to use this because it gives everybody a chance to go pull out their tax bill. They can, even if they don't have it, they can call the county, get their tax bill, and know exactly what it's going to cost them as an individual, not just as an average person living in a community. So really this chart on the right is what I'd recommend if you guys want to do something like that, using that in your promotional material.
Is the average person shocked by that when they see that?
You know what's funny is, I don't think so. When you break it down into monthly, even for most of your average people, it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. So you're talking about, what is that? Anywhere from $12 to $25 a month. For most people, when they hear you're voting $51 million, that feels like that's got to be a crazy amount.
That's right.
But when you can say, well, it's about $20 a month for most people, no one likes to pay more in taxes, but it's not unreasonable. So, I'm surprised sometimes how, when you break it down like that, it's not as much as you think it might be. Yeah. And you guys are in a position, and we've talked about it, you have, nothing on the tax rolls now. So anything you added is going to look like an increase.
Sure.
So that's part of the challenge for you to have nothing on there. It's been great for years to not have that, but now you do anything, it's going to be an increase. So that's going to be just a little bit of, talking points for you all.
How many years have we been without tax? Do we know?
Gosh, I could look. I don't know off the top of my head. We've got historical
know that
stuff on
talking
that, but
point.
yeah, it'd be a good thing to know too.
Yeah.
And just, if you get to that point, talking about how you've been, good stewards of the money you've had for so long, but, now the time is to do these bigger projects. The only way to do it is bond issues. Those are all my main talking points. So again, he's pulled up the resolution. You'll notice the agenda item says Board to consider action on a resolution. Inside the resolution, it has this dollar amount, $51.2 million. It has the term, 15 years. It has the election date, which is June 16th. So we didn't talk about that, but that's important to know is the election date. And then it does have the project language, which Mr. Bashir and I have gone over. It is listed pretty generically on purpose. It's specific enough that it, fulfills what the law requires you all, but it's not so specific that if you all get into some of the processes of building and things like that, you can't make certain adjustments if you need to for, whatever your benefit would be at that time. It doesn't list square footage or specific location or any of those kind of, how many classrooms and desks and those kind of things. It's generic enough that if you need to change some of that as you go to your final planning, you can.
Mr. Shears, the 31 million, the 35 million includes some projects in addition to the new school, correct? Was the 35 just the new school?
35 to new school with all the IT, security, new cameras, and all that stuff, and furniture.
I'll mention one other thing before someone get this question. The difference between those two numbers, the vast majority of that is the interest cost we're paying the banker. There's a little bit built in there for fees, but the vast majority of it is that interest cost. We have to estimate today what the interest cost is going to be. We obviously don't know until several months from now. So we've got that at 5.25%. We just let bids on another lease purchase, not quite as big, but a similar term, and we're getting still bids in the low 4%. So we've got a pretty good cushion built in. So even if something with the market happened and rates jumped up, bond rates don't move up very quickly. Even if they did, we've got a pretty good cushion built in there. So let's just say we're estimating 5.25 today. 6 months from now, when you're ready to start the construction project, whatever that time frame is, rates are still at 4.25. Well, that just means instead of having 35 to spend, you'll have more to spend because now you're paying less in interest. So hopefully that 35 million number is a worst case scenario. Typically you end up with a little bit more than that to spend, and it just depends on where rates are at that time. So I don't want to promise you anything, but if we do a pretty good job on our end being conservative, then you should have hopefully a little more money than that to spend. But that's how much we're showing for sure.
The 35, 9, 55, whatever, pull up the spreadsheet I was working off of. Construction costs was the budget number, 32,750,215. Have to round that to the nearest 5,000.
Yeah.
So that's where we put 35,955. Security and IT, $700,000 on that. I worked with, Next Tech does a lot of our stuff around here. Used them to help guide some of that number and kind of what average per square foot costs are on security IT. Furniture, I worked with Merrifield's, come with that number, $790, $160 for all new furniture in the building. And then architect fees, the 5% that we contract with, so puts you at $35,955. We wanted to stay at 22 mills. Didn't want to go much over that. I know we talked about several projects, like parking lots and things like that. But also wanted to keep them on the taxpayer, not get more than, you know what I'm saying? We want to keep that in mind. So that's what some of those other projects we talked about didn't. And we want to stay at that 22 mills if we could. So.
Are we required to put any of those out for bid? Like the, the different things, or like the tech card or anything?
Is that?
They will be. You have a general contractor, but everything underneath that does go out to bid.
They'll all be open publicly, all the sub bids before the board here.
Yes.
So you selected your CM. So it'll be competitively bid on all the subcontractors. And you'll be able to watch the bids open. It'll be a public opening.
I'll defer to those guys. 'Cause
I thought so,
I thought so too, but
but I want to make sure.
I prefer the people to do it every day. Anyway, that's where the numbers came from that got us to this.
Other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I'm not trying to pressure you, but it's something you want to move forward with, you just need action on that last agenda item. Calling for it.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, that's cool.
Do that now, or are we waiting?
Well, if y'all have any questions,
I'm not hearing any.
do you have any questions for Aaron? If you can, any questions?
So it's the 5.2 motion, not 5.1?
Correct.
That is correct.
Let's read it.
Where's that 5.2?
5.2 is board to consider and take action on a resolution authorizing the calling.
That's 5.1. Let's go down. Correct?
There we go.
There we go.
That's that one.
You want to click on that, James? So you can-
No, I think,
That's what I said.
He had pulled up.
okay. It does not have a date, it's just
Well, I think it has a date now.
on.
That's where I mentioned, it's approving the resolution, and then inside the
Okay.
resolution,
It
it contains all
doesn't
that.
say
And you
that in
can
the
scroll
motion.
down if you want me to show you where that stuff is, right down just a little bit.
I've seen that, the
Okay.
motion, the action over there does not have that in there. Okay, so we need to refer back to the,
60 days.
16th day of June 2026.
I think we need to put that in the motion, don't you, or not?
You don't have to, since you're approving the resolution, and it's in the resolution we made a part of the minutes, but however you feel comfortable.
What's your preference, James?
Well, was resolution in that motion? Okay, I'm just jumping around.
No, that's fine. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Well, these lovely people have traveled. Answer our questions, so thank
I
you.
think I'm ready to go.
We entertain a motion.
I make motion.
I second.
Milton? Sorry, yes.
Yes.
That was the frog howling at you. McDermott?
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Well, how'd you get off so easy?
I don't know. Just good living.
I must be.
Just plain living.
I guess so.
Do you,
Well, it's
do
pretty
you
interesting.
have a copy?
I have
Or you just
copies,
want-
yeah.
Okay,
I
You all
can
signed
see-
before you adjourned, or do you?
yeah, let's.
Okay. I noticed that was on the agenda that way. Who's the president and clerk? So remind me who the clerk is.
Talking about anything else.
Just printing everybody's, any person absent, we'll make that
Perfect.
note on there. Now, all of these, I'll just write starting place, but there's several copies.
Yes.
You'll sign and flip, you'll be president.
Sounds like I can't
Five
afford
in
it.
that one. And this one's clerk, same thing, there's 3 copies that one, you'll sign and flip also.
I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, yeah, and you made,
Let's do some here too.
That's okay.
made new parts, pieces.
Several copies.
Yeah,
I can get down there.
That's okay.
Thank
You'll
you.
sign and flip, and
Let's go do
yeah,
it.
there's 5 in that one, and
Terry usually has a lot of money. Pointy stickers.
no, I'm not as good as she is.
Yeah.
You might as well call it
Why to
36
pay her
million.
big bucks, though?
That's, well,
30,
yeah.
35.99, 39.5, 35.5, she's calling
Feel like your car's in.
45,000 for
You told me just, yeah. It's gonna be, I can't do that.
99.99.
This way it gets worse. If your bond election passes,
You don't even remember.
I don't even remember.
there's several copies of that actually.
Good.
Because what, and
There's several copies.
I'm sure my dad signed it for me to get me out of the house.
Just on that bond
Do
part.
you want to put this?
Yeah, just the last
No.
names on
Of
that
who did
5.2,
those?
yes,
Okay.
and just 4 and 0. So
You can get in trouble with the camera today.
just do that so I have the same notes that you do.
Nope,
One
nope.
that didn't bring my readers, I had to.
Yeah.
you did wrong.
Did they pretty well, didn't he?
Thank you very much.
And then when you get a chance, I want a copy of your stuff.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yep. I can leave you on that. Okay, that's it. Thank you. I can seal everything after the meeting's adjourned.
6, signing documents approved. There is anything else you've got?
I've got one more for you.
One more. Well, it's a huge step to get us in the right direction for our kids. Absolutely. And it's, I will tell you, long before I got on the board, would like to thank the previous board members because we've been very blessed and have, I think, been very diligent in spending and investing, and so, it's time to move, and I appreciate everybody's input, so, and I appreciate you all traveling.
This
Thank
is
you.
just the start of a bunch of work.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, but here we go. All right, have a motion to adjourn?
Smooth.
Second.
Kane,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Singleton,
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.